Still got siding to do at the renovation house up there, and I have checked with several different contractors and people about having somebody do it. I mean, I already have the siding. I just don't really have the time, and one of the other problems is I didn't own a brake. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done where the sheet metal and aluminum, you need a brake to do it. And the companies I contacted, and I mean there was a bunch of them, was, well, if you already have the siding, we don't want to do it. Okay, do you own a brake? Well, no. Well, then I'm not interested anyway. So then another company, you know, no, we want to be able to supply the siding and this and that. I said, okay. I said, forget that. I says, do you own a brake? Well, yeah, of course we do. I says, can I hire you to just do the wrap work and the metal work that needs to be done, and I'll do the siding? No, we're not interested. We only do the whole project. And I went round and round and went to quite a few different contractors, and I thought, okay, the heck with you all. I'll buy a brake and do it myself. I haven't used a brake since I was in my early 20s. And obviously that's been a couple weeks ago. However, I don't think I've forgotten how to do it, and brakes are not cheap. I did buy a TAPCO brake, snap stand, cutter, gauges, sitting outside the shop. Came today. We're going to put it together. Coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the shop, and as I mentioned in the introduction there, I bought a brake, TAPCO brake, the 10'6" model. I didn't get the 14 foot, and I didn't get the little 5 foot, 8 foot, whatever it is, because I don't need anything longer than 10'6", but I do need a few things longer than 5 feet. And I've got projects not just at the renovation house, but I've got a few things here at our own house. When we built the house back in the late 90s, the front porch was wrapped with cedar, and then it was painted. And it's held up well, and it's been painted again, of course. That's a long time ago. But I would like to wrap that also with aluminum, so to make it maintenance free as I get older, because I am not a spring chicken anymore. And I am not real sure that I remember entirely how to use a brake, but I'll probably pick that back up pretty quick, because it's not that hard. So let's get out there, and we'll go outside, and the heat index is only like 99 or something. But I'm in the shade. We'll go out, we'll get this thing unboxed and put it together. So here it is. Big box in the bottom, obviously, is the brake, cutter, gauges, snap stand, wheel kit for snap stand. I think we should probably put the stand together first. That would make the most sense. We'll say that whoever stapled this box shut must have got paid by the staple. I've seen so many staples, and there are a bunch of them. We'll get them out. I do have the wheel kit opened up there. Okay, got the snap stand all opened up here. There was a lot of cardboard inserts in here to protect the parts. I took all them out and got rid of them. Got some nuts and bolts and some destructions here, so we'll get on with this next. You also need to be aware that during this video there may be a lot of puns, because I don't want to break anything. That's number one. Well, this looks like it's going to be fairly simple and straightforward. I'll tell you here with these, these little buttons here you push in and you pop out. This thing's kind of warm, it was sitting in the sun earlier. Well, there's one. Obviously the legs are adjustable, same type of little snap pins. Next we have the pieces that go in between. And I've got to figure out how I'm going to do this by myself. It's definitely a two-person job. Well, next here's the wheel kit. Got them right here. And supposedly you push them up in here and you smack them with a hammer. Yeah, get them into position and then we'll do the smacking. That's supposed to wedge them in there so they don't fall out. Yeah, to me those could be tightened up a little bit, but we'll get to that later. There are Zerk fittings on there if you decide you need to go high speed. So, and if you let the legs out, of course, you'll elevate it and you won't be on the wheels, so you won't roll around, but I'm definitely going to be tightening those up. Yeah, I got the tires adjusted well there. Got them tightened up a little bit, and I'm not going to raise that up quite yet. We get more of this unpacked. I get the other brackets on. Those are not pneumatic tires, so you don't have to worry about them going flat. They'll never go flat. Okay, I actually had to go look at the directions again because this does go in there, but I mean, it's not even close to going in there. I'm gonna have to loosen up these nuts a little bit, so I got some play in there. That's more better. Still a tight fit. Sometimes you got to make adjustments. I guess that's the brakes. That's number 2. Yes, we live by an airport. Now I'll tighten these other bolts back down. Now my next piece. This sets right in here. This is going to be the back of my brake. Okay, now I need to do exactly the same thing at the other end. Okay, so I've got sand all put together here. I'll be unboxing the brake next, and they do give you a little toy wrench with it in case you're out in the field and have absolutely no tools, but these take a 7/16, and if you have real tools, it'll work a whole lot better than that. Okay, when this was delivered, the truck driver told me that the pallet probably weighs more than what's inside it, and I wouldn't be surprised. So we'll get all these straps cut off, get all the staples cut. Boy, is that a tough one. And once again, somebody was getting paid by the staples, looking at all the staples over here on this side. So we'll get all them off and then see what we got. Okay, making that little change on the stand was simple, but holy cow, is it hot. I may have mentioned that before. Maybe what I need is a brake. It's number 3. Okay, so here it is. I like this. Always have 2 people load and unload unit. Yeah, right. I work by myself like 99% of the time, so have to be burly, I guess. So I need to get some owner's manual unpacked, some tie wraps cut off. Other people call these zip ties. Electricians call them tie wraps. So we'll get the rest of this unpacked, cut up some cardboard, and I do believe the pallet is heavier than the brake is. Okay, here, so what else does it come with? Of course, you got operating instructions, you got a bag of goodies here, nuts and bolts and pins, and you get an alien wrench. So I need to finish setting this up. I'm debating whether to put it on the stand first. I have everything backwards. I have the stand facing that way and the brake is facing this way. But I can overcome that. Just got to make sure I don't break anything before. Okay, there is a little pin down there. I know you can't see it, but once it slides into place, that pin pops up and it's locked. And I know why they tell you to use 2 people. It's kind of heavy. Need to get it leveled up here too. Okay, one more deal. We got that up there. We get the hemming handle put on. Cut this tie off of there. Get rid of that. Then I got to come around and put this on from yonder other side. And I'm going to need some hardware to do it, so I got to get my hardware bag. Okay, the hemming handle goes right here. And it'll give you some bolts. Matter of popping them in there, getting them started in these, what they call a fast pin. If you're not familiar with this, after this is mounted permanent, you can pull them pins out and take this handle off so it's not in the way when you're transporting it. Okay, gluten tight. Okay, the bending handles are stored in the ends right here. There's a pin you pull out. Back that out of there. Pop it out, and I'll need to put the pieces into the front. Tubular. Okay, this is all pointed out pretty clear in the instructions, but we'll kind of go over this a little bit here. Opening right here, this slides in. Your bolt slides down in there. The nut that goes on the back, you'll need a 7/16 wrench for that. And then the alien wrench they give you will fit the front. And then to mount your handle, you just slip this over that tube, or that lock right there. Looks like we got a little burr in there or something. There we go. And the pin pops right through. Gotta do the same thing for the other one. And the last item to put on is this hinge clip right here. There's a pre-drilled hole. You just get like a fill-em-up screwdriver and put that in, and this holds this down. It latches it and doesn't let it flop around when you're trying to pull your stock through. Okay, next I need to remove some packing material. It looks like got some little cardboard strips in there. We'll release this. Little pieces of cardboard out. There's the packing. That would definitely throw things off. You left those in there. And I need to make some adjustments, but I don't have any stock to do it with. Duh. Well, we're going to be slightly delayed putting this gauge on because I need a couple pieces of 12 by 12 trim coil. And as I mentioned, I don't have any trim coil. I'm going to have to go get some. And that won't be today. It's late in the evening. I mean, it's almost 5 o'clock. But I wanted to wait till I got into the shade over here in front of the shop because it's hot. So let me get this closed up. I got one more box to open. I know what that is too. The old Pro Cutoff. Box in a box. The way we did this back in the day was to score along the edge of the brake with a utility knife and then bend it back and forth and break it off. But always leave a little bit of a burr. And yeah, this here is a little bit of a luxury. I didn't absolutely have to have this, but I think it's going to make things a whole lot easier and neater. And a little less chance of me getting cut because I tend to get cut on any kind of sheet metal. All I have to do is look at it. And there it is, along with accessories. And when I get some trim coil here, I'll demonstrate this. Comes in a nice little plastic carry box too. So all I need to do is go get me some trim coil, get this thing set up, aligned, get my gauges on here. I'll demonstrate the cutoff tool. It's not like I'm trying to break, there's another one, into the siding business, but I had quite a bit of work to do at the renovation house. It required a break. I've got some work to do on the shop here. It's going to require a break. I need to make a little bit of custom fascia on the ends. When I built this back in the 90s, I didn't have a brake available. I just kind of cobbled the fascia together by cutting some strips off, and it wasn't bent properly. I didn't even have a bending tool. I was just using a couple pieces of wood and a clamp and another block of wood to bend it over, so that's not the way to do it. So we're going to do it right. And I've got some work to do on the front of the house. Yeah, this was a substantial investment. So why didn't I rent one? Well, the rentals I looked at were expensive. It would have cost me, by the time I got done with everything for the length of time I was going to have it, I would have had $1,500 in the rental. And that's half the cost of this already. So, you know, if I decide to not keep this after I get done with all these projects, I'll sell it. I'm sure I won't get my full price back out of it, but I should be able to get a substantial amount of my money back, and I won't have to pay that rental fee, and I don't have to worry about what somebody else had done to it to make it a piece of crap, if you know what I mean. That happens sometimes with rental equipment. So, We'll get some trim coil and we'll be coming back to this. What I got to do right now is figure out, where am I going to put this? You've seen the shop, how crowded it is. I guess I'll put it into our shipping bay for right now, but until I get this up to the renovation house and set up and everything, it's going to have to live in there. We'll have to move it out when we're doing our shipping. My goal at the end, if we get done with all these projects and everything and I get back here with it, I'm going to be storing it. We have a big 12 by 20 shed out back that is kind of a catch-all for everything that needs cleaning out anyway. This would be a good excuse to do it. So I'll come back to this when I got some trim coil to mess with. Well, the weather didn't cooperate with me real well. We got some rain going on, but I did get the gauges in here. This is all cramped in here because this is really tight. These are the gauge pieces that go in. One's for cutoff and one is just for when you're laying your piece out in there. And I have them spaced about 4 feet apart. So everything's working fine on there. I'm really cramped in here. And something you need to remember if you're picking one of these up and you're getting the Pro Cutoff is to put this latch in down here, right there, to make sure that it latches your piece down like this when you're cutting. Otherwise, that's a disaster because it doesn't cut straight. Found that out. Okay, the other thing you do on a rainy day is you do a little bit of practice. So as I mentioned before, I hadn't used one of these. I was in my 20s, and I said that'd been a few weeks ago, and it has. Many weeks ago. So I bent up a couple little test pieces here of some of the forms I'm going to need at the renovation house, and yeah, it all comes back to you pretty fast. Okay, something you're going to need to do if you have the Pro Cutoff, and I have it sitting here on the end of the brake, is you see here where the roller rides in this right on top of that extrusion. You have to make sure it's there and not there, because you can still roll this on there, although it does run into the cross pieces. But if you're cutting a small piece and you don't have that in the right place, it'll screw your cut up. Guess how I know that? So you definitely want to make sure that roller is on this extrusion. And you also want to make sure that this is all the way down. Yes, I've got a mess in here. Stuff is just sitting all over. But rainy day, and I got the brake all assembled and I got everything set up on it, doing some practice runs. Next week I'll be taking this up to the renovation house and we'll get started on that siding that I actually started last October, and then I got too cold and then, well, I don't work in the cold. It's got to be warm out for me to work. So that's my overview of the TAPCO Pro 19, some of the accessories I got with it. Once again, nobody gave this to me. I wish they would have. This was an expensive investment, but it's something I'm going to need to have for quite a few different projects. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. That always helps the channel. Was Roger in the shop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.